That boy who used to spend days in the garage with only his imagination and a couple hand tools has gotten lost in the grind of the real world. I think it's time we find him.
3 pickets, 1 planter, 1 gift. My wife came to me with a photo, an obviously AI generated planter, and asked, "Can I make it?" for her mother's birthday. And well, happy wife, happy, yeah, you get it. So here I am designing a planter and building it. It's a little funky. At first, it wasn't what I would have done, but it grew on me. And by the end, I'm glad I built it. 1, because she loved it. As we get older, it's not the dollar sign of a gift, but the meaning behind it. And number 2, because it opened up my mind to more. More of everything, more designs, more creativity. Enough, let's get this one started. The pickets picked out, we start with the base. It's simple enough. The full cut list is in the description. At the miter saw, I cut 3 pieces at 18 inches. 2 for the sides and 1 for the bottom. We lay it out and, well, it's too narrow for my liking. So using the table saw, I rip a strip at 1.5 inches to make the base 7 inches wide in the center. And I add the 2 7-inch end pieces. Glue up is easy. Tight bond 3. I start with the base, glue the thin strip to the bottom and shoot some staples in to hold it while the glue dries. Then build the frame around it. I set the box aside to dry and move on to the legs. For those of you that are new here, I build by feel. The basic idea of the build is in my head, but no full plans. I'm actually using this Christmas reindeer as a sample size. No, we're not building a reindeer, but a horse. My mother-in-law has had horses her whole life. We think this is going to be perfect. I have an idea on the legs. So I start with the front legs, straight legs. I sketch them out. If we do it right, I can slide the legs down just a little and we can maximize our wood and have minimal waste. I square it up at the miter saw and break out the jigsaw. I don't like jigsaws, or at least mine, but I misplaced my tapering jig for the table saw, so I really have no choice. Then I freehand the cut. And, to my surprise, this cut's amazing. There's a big difference between a 5/8 inch fence picket and 1.5 inch pressure treated. I mean, I knew it, but I wasn't expecting it to cut so smoothly. Front legs went so well, I move on to the hindquarters. I spent some time tracing out what I thought made a shapely leg and hit up the jigsaw again. And again, it went real well. I pull the one out and sand it, creeping into the curves, 120 grit. Pleased with the first leg, I trace out the second and duplicate it. Now, the easiest thing to do here would be to leave the legs at 90 degrees. But I would like them splayed a little. I would love to put the horse in motion, but pretty certain I would mess up the gait and be called out on it by my kids. It's 2 hooves down and 2 up, Dad, alternating. So I just settle on a small angle here, 10 degrees. The speed square, tilt it, that looks good. I cut them at the miter saw, then hit the one up for sanding. I'm not going smooth here. It's an outside planter, but I do need the pencil marks off and any rough edges. Glue up. Yeah, this did not go well. I needed to get all 4 legs flat at the correct angle and height, and I didn't even know any of them. I tried lots of things. In the end, I got a lot of bad camera angles, half shots, so I'm just going to explain it all here. I used Type Bond 3, of course, and staples. I ended up taking the speed square, drawing out 10 degrees for the leg to match the hooves, picking a height I liked, and glued and stapled the first leg on. I flipped it over and did the matching leg on the other side. Then I moved on to the rear. I used clamps to hold them up until I had everything level, then marked the shape of them out, glue and stapled one at a time. All dried, I moved right onto the tail. Taking cardboard, I fiddle with it and come up with a pattern I like. I draw it out, trace it onto the wood, and hit up the scroll saw yet again. Followed up by the one sander. It's coming together nicely. It's about this point that I'm actually getting into the build. Even enjoying it. I move on to the head. It's going to be 2 pieces. One for the neck and the other the head. And the ears will add on at the end. I haven't decided on the ears. I might go leather, bring in a new material, or wood. We'll have to see. I trace the neck out and hit the scroll saw. As you know, then I hit the wen to sand the curves out again. A couple test fits back and forth, and I settle on the neck. The head gets the same treatment. I actually had my wife help draw the neck and head out, so if it's off, blame her. It's not my superior woodworking skills. For glue up, I position it just right, mark it, glue it, staple it. The gluing strips. This is the part I fear the most. How to glue the tail and head onto this basket and get the strength I need. I decided on making gluing strips to place on both sides of the tail and head, giving it much needed support. I glued and stapled the thin strips to the tail, then glued and stapled to the base. I'll be honest, the second I gave up filming on the bench and just set it on the floor and put the camera there, it went smooth, like real easy. Once the head was dried, I repeated the process for the head and neck. And this wasn't quite as easy. I couldn't flip it upside down because the tail was there, so I held it up in the air. It went smooth, but no way was I getting a good camera angle. I then shot some staples in from the back side of the pot as well. I'm quite pleased with it. Drilled some holes in the bottom for drainage. Then off camera, I guess, as I can't find the footage, I pre-drilled some holes from the basket into the neck and tail and put some 1 5/8 inch screws in for added support. She's rock solid. I think she looks great, loaded with dirt and flowers, sitting on the lawn, a deck or porch. She's going to be gorgeous. But more importantly, my mother-in-law loved it and wouldn't stop talking about it at our party last night. So, it's a win either way. Might not have been my first choice for a build this week. I want to build it again but level it up. A deer with slats instead of a box, sanded smooth, finished like my duck planter. Branches for antlers, leather for ears, maybe a fawn to play beside it. Maybe reindeer with solar fairy lights for wintertime to replace this monstrosity that sits on my lawn. So, anyone else going to give this a try? As always, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Anything and everything. Until the next time.